Hi, it's Dave from Courtyard Homes. We've got today Belinda with us, who is from Centurion Financial. She's one of our beautiful, amazing mortgage advisors. And we are here, we're here so that we can go through and let you guys know what's happening in the current market and what we're expecting to go to be happening in the coming months. So I'm going to pass it over to Belinda quickly, just so you can introduce yourself, Belinda, and say hello. And then we'll catch up. We've got a few questions to ask, and hopefully we can answer some of these questions that you guys have been asking us and things that are pondering on your mind a little bit, and see if we can put some things straight and give you a clear view for the future. So over to Belinda. Do you want to say hello to everyone?
Yeah. Good morning, everybody. What a fantastic morning it is. Yeah, great to be here. Hi, Dave. You're looking well. What a 12 months it's been. Last March to this March, it's just been a complete roller coaster in the property market. I have Centurion Financial Services, so independent advice, and I've seen a massive change since last March to this March. In terms of availability of mortgages, last March when we had, I think it was lockdown number 1, we've lost track of all the lockdowns, but lockdown number 1, lenders more or less, there was 95% mortgages available, but lenders pulled everything. So the most I could do was 75% mortgages. Lenders' criteria got really strict. They wouldn't lend to self-employed, estate agencies were closed, solicitors were closed. So it kind of, there was houses there, but it had kind of come to an actual, like a halt. Yeah. And then when we opened up again, I was busier than I've ever been, because everybody then wanted to move. Lenders still not lending any money, so still keeping hold of the purse strings, because they didn't, anything like that in the market sends the lenders into a panic, and they pull back and they don't do anything with the products that's available. I get updates all the time, every single day. I've just been on Now today, and where we are today and where we are probably from November, December time, the amazing news is the 95% mortgage coming back. Woohoo! I'm really pleased. Can't wait for that. It will be possibly very strict on criteria, which is a good thing. But again, if you don't fit in that criteria, it doesn't matter, because we've got other lenders perhaps that you've never heard of that will do that. Yeah. I think the main thing for me is in the market, we don't know yet what the 95% deals are going to look like, because although the government have said that they're coming on the market, we don't know what they are. No. So people that are thinking great stuff will wait. Don't wait. Get in contact with me, or even not me, another advisor. Let's get you ready for when they do come out, these deals. We're ready to go. Because houses will start appearing. And I think we spoke about this briefly last week, Dave, about housing stock. You had about 3 houses left. Yeah. And I've got about 9 buyers who want to buy a house and can't buy one. And I've said, look, let's wait a little bit, and then till the end of the month, see whether we can get you 95%. Yeah. So if you're a home mover, a first-time buyer, up to £600,000, you're going to be able to get this 5% deal. But we don't know the ins and outs of it just yet. But please, I just said, don't wait to customers. I've rang most of my clients, even if they don't want a mortgage, and said, look, do you know anybody that could benefit from this? Give us a ring. My advice is free. Just find out your options, so you're like kind of mortgage ready, or you're moving ready. You know how much you can lend. Yeah. You're selling your property. Get in contact with yourself, Dave, and get your house on the market. Let's get you moving, and then all these houses will start to appear again. It's kind of grown to a bit of a halt at the minute, hasn't it? Do you agree? Yeah,
it's difficult at the moment. One of the biggest things we get is we go out to see a lot of people, and the biggest question is, do I do it now if I sell? I've got nothing to potentially buy, and it's a bit of a chicken and an egg, which I've done a few videos on this recently. And like I said, I don't advise on this, because I think it's down to each individual person really. But we're seeing currently at the moment, there's like, I don't know, 10 or 20% of what ordinary stock is available, but there's 200-300% of buyers out there. I mean, I know we speak quite a lot, and the inquiries I'm getting from buyers and the inquiries you're getting from potential buyers is just through the roof. And I've not seen a better time to sell your house in the last probably 10 years. Is it the best time to buy? The prices are
to me, it's twofold. We were just laughing about this before, and I said to you, people listen to other people. Someone at number 6 to listen to, oh, don't get a house, it's not a good time. It's always a good time to get a property. A property is an investment.
Yeah.
And also it's kind of you saying your aspirations, where you want to be. Do you want to stay where you are and do it up? Do you want to move? It's all about, there's no better time to buy at the minute. Rates are low. Rates will never be this low again. Rates can't go physically really much lower. So for me, anybody that's buying now, I'm saying get in now while the market is low.
Yeah.
Don't wait until the mortgage rates start going up in 2 years. Or if you're in a position where you want to move, what about renting yours out rather than selling it, getting an income from it? I know we've chatted about that before.
Yeah, it's a big...
there's lots of options, but I think, I always say, what you're waiting for, don't... Last week I had 4 calls to say, oh, I'll be in contact with you in the future. And I said, well, why? Let's have a chat now. Let's see if what you need to do to get from A to B and how long, and then you're ready to go. Because we don't know. We might only have, they're saying about 9 lenders bringing on board these deals, but we might not do. We might only have 5 or 6. Yeah. And it will be towards the end of next month. We don't know yet. Yeah. And with the extension as well of the stamp duty, which is also a brilliant positive thing for both of us and everybody else in the house.
Certainly home buyers, it's brilliant. Yeah.
Oh, it's brilliant, it is. And I just think there's never been a better time. And I, like you, get lots of comments saying, I can't find a house, and I'm driving past places taking photographs of houses for people, for clients, because I'm thinking, have they seen it? Have they seen that? It's just come up today.
It's madness.
It is madness, but
crazy times at the moment for in the housing market.
It is definitely, but good times.
It is.
No.
So what I want to do is, obviously, you're on here now. One of the reasons that I've got you on is twofold. Obviously, so introduce yourself, give the public a bit of your knowledge. So straight from the horse's mouth, rather than Karen or Janine or whoever it is down the road who thinks that.
Be careful with the names, Dave.
I know. Yeah, this is just. There is nobody in particular on that thing there. But we want people to get the advice from the trained professionals. So obviously we've got Belinda here now. I know you've covered a couple of things that I wrote down while you were talking. So one of them, just explain what independent means from a mortgage broker point of view for the potential buyers in the public out there, if you can.
Yeah, the main difference really is when you go, to put it in layman's terms, when you go to the bank and you see the bank about anything, absolutely anything, they can only advise you on what they've got. Yeah. So I'm independent, so I can use any mortgage provider. Some you will have never heard of. I can use the tiniest building society in deep darkest Wales, or I could use a mainstream lender. So I'm not tied to anybody. I'm totally independent. So it's like an unbiased, approach to looking at your finances. And it's not just the mortgage. So I look at the finances as a whole, and there's no obligation for my clients. I go and see them. We go through everything with them, give them the options, and then it's entirely up to them. But they've got independent advice
and a full range of products across.
Absolutely, I can use anyone's mortgages, anyone's protection. Yeah. And I get a lot of people ringing me saying, I've got this rate from, let's just pick on the NatWest for example. I've got a rate from the NatWest. I'm like, brilliant. Let's have a look at it. And I don't mind, because then I can look at what they want, and actually that rate that they've said might not suit them. Yeah. So my job, is to find out what their aspirations is. Tell me what you want to be doing in 5 years' time. You don't get that when no offence to banks, but you go in a bank and they can only tell you what they have got.
What you've got, that's it, yeah.
Yeah, and I worked in a bank previously before I set up my own firm, a long time, and you are restricted. And at the moment, with the market being like it is, you need to be as flexible as a broker, as a mortgage advisor as possible. And I can be, which is really good.
That's it. And another thing that you touched upon, I'm going to jump onto now, is your fee structure. So I don't know if you want to make people aware what it is. I know from personal experience, and obviously we talk all the time and use you guys, and recommend your services, but there is no charge initially. Is that you want to just
No.
cover
the way it operates? Obviously, I'm regulated by the Financial Services Authority, which is now the Financial Conduct Authority. So any advice I give is totally free. And I'll be honest with you, there's nothing to hide, because I'll go through it with clients anyway. The way I get paid is I get a commission. So for example, if we use NatWest, I'll get a commission, but I also charge a fee as well, a broker's fee. Now that fee only becomes payable if I go along and do an application for somebody. I take the fee. If I can't get that mortgage for that person, then I refund the fee. It's a one-off fee, and it's just how I get paid. And it's because I'm independent, I can use anybody at all. I see people in their own homes. It's one bespoke. You don't come to an office. It's around time to suit the client. So where fees are concerned, very transparent with my fees. I get commission from the lender, and I also charge a fee on application of the mortgage as well.
But it's like a no-win, no fee, the way that you charge it. So if the mortgage doesn't happen, there is no fee. No, there is not. If the mortgage doesn't happen, there's no fee. If the client cancels the mortgage after I've done it for them and gone through it, then they don't get a refund. Just like you wouldn't book a holiday and then someone said, "Oh, I've changed my mind." They won't say you can have all your money back. Cancellation fee of some description.
I'm very, and sometimes I do a lot of stuff that I don't charge for, because although it's not stuff that I'm doing right now, in years to come, they come back to you. I have a lot of repeat clients, friends, family recommendations. So to me, it's not so much, because people say, why do you charge? Why do you charge? And it's kind of like, I'm very upfront with it. I do charge because A, I provide an excellent service. B, I'm independent and I'm bespoke. So I work for you, work other than the other way around. And I'm dead clear with it. If I can't get your mortgage, then you'll get your money back. If I can, happy days. You've moved in your new house.
That's it. Brilliant. So we've obviously gone through it. It's been a manic year. And where are you seeing it right now? So I know a few months ago, when we were trying to speak to the mortgage advisors and the lenders, the lead times on the turnaround on these acceptances, or them doing the valuations or whatever, was just it was like 10 times longer than it was previously. Are you seeing that easing up at the moment? Is it still the same? Is it busier than it was? How is the market, and how long is it on average taking for this process to go through? So let's say I was to come in and speak to you. I've seen a house and I want to get a mortgage. How quickly would it take me to get a mortgage offer in principle, which will allow me to put an offer in? And then how long would it take for this application to be accepted? What's the average times? I know we can't nail it down on one because they're all different, but what would be an average time?
It has changed. And I will say as well, Dave, it's dependent on the lender. Because obviously some lenders, the likes of, without name dropping, the likes of the Nationwide and things like that, they're very quick. Everything's done. So if I do an application, the valuation gets submitted on the same day, it gets instructed. Other companies, small building societies, sometimes do things manually still. So again, you're up against that. And also, if they bring the new rates out, so for example, next month, I'm expecting times for valuations, everything like that, to be extended, because people will have to wait longer, because there'll be more people applying, and it has a knock-on effect. Now, I used to quote about up to 8 weeks after you've got your mortgage offer, which is 2 months after you've got your mortgage offer. But this month I've had someone that's had the mortgage offer and completed 2 weeks later. Right. It's very, very, very random. It's just not as straightforward. But getting an agreement in principle, what I normally do after seeing the client, I produce like a letter, Dave, on letter-headed paper, and they give it to the estate agent to say, this is what I could lend based on what I've seen from my clients, and that normally secures them the ability to look around the house. And the reason I do that is a decision in principle, or an agreement in principle, actually, in the grand scheme of things, doesn't really mean nothing, because you could put any numbers on a screen to get, you could say that you earned 40,000 and you could. So to me, having sat down with clients, this letter that I give them so they can view, and then if they put an offer in, it's been accepted, I can do the application the same day. Like I said, I'm not tied to office hours, so I can do that straight away. The evaluation gets instructed normally within 24 hours.
Yeah.
Lender dependent. It is, because
I know.
I did a mortgage on Thursday, and they've only just instructed evaluation today because they wanted to assess all the details first.
Yeah.
Whereas I can do one with some lenders and the valuation's done the same time as the application.
Yeah.
Very, very different. And also, you've got to think about solicitors, you know, and things like that. Are people back in work? Have they got all the workforce back?
Yeah.
A lot of lenders haven't. A lot of lenders, like building societies, you know, they're also working from home remotely. So, you know, although it's brilliant, and I've had first-time buyers complete, you know, within about 8 weeks, you know, some people say about 8 to 10 weeks.
Yeah.
Years ago, we used to 6 to 8 weeks years ago. That's changed. It's more like you can take up to 12 weeks. It can take, but that is if there's issues and you're in a chain, or you're at the bottom of the chain, or
that's like the full sales process. It's taking a hell of a lot longer. The councils are off, searches are taking long. The whole thing is taking a lot longer than it used to. And I remember, and I'm sure you're going to remember this, when we first got locked down and HSBC were offering the 10% mortgages, the 10% deposits on the mortgages. Every man and his dog ran to their door, and I think they do something where they said, look, you've got to put your application in 9 o'clock in the morning and we'll let you know.
I was one of them.
Next day.
Dave, I was a broker, and I spent the best part of a week every day in my pajamas at 7 o'clock submitting a mortgage application. I get to the end screen, submit, deal not available, and you got to do it again.
Following
and
day.
In the end, it was a bit of a what you call a lost leader.
Yeah.
So they did it to get people, you know, interested, but they cherry picked. So what they did, they cherry picked. They only wanted the lowest risk of case, which is what I was saying to you before about making sure people's got up-to-date information on the finances and credit file, because a lot of lenders these days, they want a clean credit file. Some lenders don't. Some lenders are very like bespoke niche lenders that will do people that have got adverse credit. Because let's face it, people have been off. Yeah. They've not been working through no fault of their own. But I think to get your credit file is key, because people tell me, oh, I've got a 999 on my credit score. And I'm like, great. So we do the mortgage. But what happens is, it's not the number, it's actually what it says on your credit score. Yeah. So if you've got 3 missed mortgage payments in the last 2 years, I'm thinking, well, my job then is to know that a mainstream 5% lender, they won't do it, because they only want the best cases. And I think this is what we'll see again when we get the new deal. But it is what it is. It's not the end of the world, because there's always a lender that will do it. Yeah,
there is. And another thing that I wanted to touch upon, actually, I mean, we've spoke a lot now about the standard cases. And you know, the general public with the jobs, that's fine. But I know that you work really well on the self-employed people, which can historically be quite difficult because of the way self-employed people pay themselves and that they need a lot of books. But I do know that you have specialised in that area a little bit, and you can really help out the self-employed people to find these mortgages with some of these lenders, like you say, because you're a whole of market and independent. So do you want to just go on to that a little bit and explain to people?
Yeah, of course. I mean, I'm self-employed, Dave, you know, and I know what it's like, you know. And years ago, it was very difficult to get a mortgage. You know, they wanted 3 years proof of income. Yeah. But the good news on that is now I can get a mortgage with somebody that's got 6 months books. I mean, preferably you're waiting for at least 12 months books. Yeah. But again, you can't have everything. So if you do you've only got a year's books, give us a call. That's not a problem. But it might not be that you get a 5% deal. You might have to put 10% down. Yeah, yeah. So there is, you know, there's very little I can do regards, you know, COVID and self-employment. One of the areas that the lenders have kind of picked on, if you like, is the self-employed. Yeah. Because if you think about it, if you were lending me £200,000, Dave, which would be very nice, but if you were,
wish I had it.
Know, and you told me that you were self-employed and you've had to shut because of COVID, you know, won't be happening because it's a risk,
good,
isn't it? Just like a lender is. So for me, you know, the self-employed is great because now I've got lenders that will look at company directors. They will look at a share of the profits rather than looking at the actual net profits, the bottom line.
Yeah.
Because everyone says, oh, I earn 150,000 self-employed, but after you've taken everything off, the bottom line is you probably don't.
Yeah.
And a lot of self-employed people might say to put what they put through and what they actually get is two different things, which is not a problem. But when you come to get a mortgage, it can be a problem. But again, so long as you've got, I would say, at least 12 months books, but from 2 years onwards, you can access whole of market more or less now.
It opens right. The less information you've got, the less lenders are there. The more information you've got, the more time.
Well, it becomes more niche. So you've got, we deal with precise mortgages, pepper money, people that will look at you after just 12 months of books, which is really good. But then your high street, you know, high street lenders, you know, a lot of them are still quite old fashioned and want 3 years books. Even if you bank with them since, you know, 25 years, it doesn't matter. If you've not got that box where they can say you've got 3 years books, they won't do it. So really, you know, minimum of 1 year, and purely because the rate will be better for you as well. So you'll get a better rate if you've got 1 year. So if you can kind of wait, so I see people if they've only just set up and I'll say, look, this is where you need to be this time next year, and give them a kind of idea what they need to be putting through to get that mortgage.
We can you might be up here on your rate, but if you just wait 12 months, you'd be here, wouldn't you?
Yeah, and also when you're employed, you're less of a risk for a lender. You know, you get your salary every month. But self-employed, it's never been a better time to get on the property ladder, especially if it's for things like a buy-to-let or an investment property, even if you don't buy one to live in. It is a good time to get in. It's if you've got one of you employed and one self-employed, not if you've got two self-employed, then everybody's very different. My self-employment and your self-employment will be very different. You know, but limited company directors, sole traders, you know, I do a lot of business with people that have their own aesthetic clinics, beauty clinics and things like that. You know, you can get a mortgage. The only thing that you've got to make sure of, if you're self-employed now and thinking, I need to get a mortgage, just put as much money through your books as you can, because unless it's on paper, unless the lender can see that that money has gone through your books, it ain't happening, you know.
You see a lot of self-employed guys who put through the 12, 20 grand a year, and you know, and they come to get a mortgage and they're like, well,
I mean, if your partner's on a decent wage as well, Dave, that's not bad. But if you're your first-time buyer, for example, and you're self-employed, and you tell me you earn 700 quid as a landscape gardener, brilliant, well done you. But if it's not in the bank and there's no your accounts, you know, your company account said that you put £4,000 through, it doesn't add up. You know,
you're not going to be able to get it.
No, and I think because a lot of this COVID has produced a good thing out of it as well. It's produced a lot of entrepreneurs, hasn't it? And a lot of set-up businesses, you know, pop-up businesses, places, food outlets. What's the word I'm looking for, Dave? Not food outlets. Do you know what I mean? These
I've seen a lot of small home businesses doing like cake things. People doing the hot food, the cold foods, a lot of the health shakes and stuff I'm seeing a lot of now, and it has created a lot of opportunity for people to take a different look. Again, from the property side, which I know a lot about, we've seen a lot of landlords coming off due to taxation reasons, but we've also, I bet I've seen more coming on than I've seen going off.
Really?
When it comes to there was a lot of landlords that I mean, this is obviously another conversation, but there's a lot of landlords in there that were at the 40% tax bracket, and they were looking at going into limited companies and then the taxation of it. But I'm seeing a hell of a lot of people now with decent businesses, maybe a little bit of money in the bank. They're looking at getting into the property market. And as you know, we can both help them there with mentoring programs, and obviously yourself doing the mortgages. But it has been it's been a different year. I would say.
I think it's I think it's been a positive, although we've got a lot of negatives. I think going forward, I mean, can you imagine, Dave, when everywhere opens up, the restaurants, hairdressers, the bars, everything, the kind of sense of like, people are just going to go for it, aren't they? They'll all want to move.
Yeah.
And we've discussed this, that I'm not expecting to have a glut of people in the next week or two moving.
No.
I think that once these deals are announced and people start to filter back to work, because don't forget, you've got to have pay slips and things like that. Some lenders are still not liking the furlough aspect. So once people start to go back, people will be calling you, putting the house on the market, getting the advice. But I just think, even if they contacted you now or me now, just to an idea of, if we wanted to do this, how would we get to this in the current climate? Yeah. So there's a lot of positives.
I've been saying to a lot of people, look, get the information now. We can tell you live what's going to happen, what you're likely to face as hurdles. And there's no point trying to do that last minute when you find a house and find out that actually there's this document that you're going to need, and it's going to take 2 weeks to get this document, because it's going to just throw you back. Get the information now, get set up.
And also, Dave, don't you forget, I mean, look how quick you're selling houses. I mean, they're on 1 minute and they're gone the same day.
Yeah.
So if you're in a position, if you're looking for a house and you've seen the house of your dreams, and then someone rings me and says, can you see me? And I say, yeah, but then the house is gone. Whereas if you're in a position to say, look, Dave, I want to make an offer on that house. I've seen my advisor, whether it's me or someone else. I've got a letter to say I can afford it. You need to be one step ahead of the game, because the properties, straight away they come on, as you said the other week, they are going. It's unbelievable, isn't it, really, that would be in this position that there's no stop.
There's no stop. The biggest advice I can give to anybody out there who's listening, and I know that Belinda echoes me on this, is get prepared. If you come and see me, make sure you've seen Belinda or another advisor beforehand. Make sure you've got either an offer in principle or a letter from an established mortgage advisor. We will take that. In fact, it's got a bit more credibility to it if it's from a mortgage advisor, because I know that somebody has checked their details, as opposed to just putting in, like, say, I earn £1 billion a year on a system which will give you a report. But I'm a bit mindful now. I don't want this going on too long, and I know you've got a really busy day, Belinda. So we're going to have to put this off now. But one thing that I can do is I can highly recommend Belinda as a mortgage advisor. Her advice is up there with the best of it. And you know what, guys, for you, it's free for that initial consultation. So when this does go live on the socials, I'm going to be putting Belinda's details on there. Feel free to contact her and ask her for advice. And that's pretty much it from me. And about you, do you want to say bye to everyone before we go? Yeah, bye to everyone. Thank you. Good luck. Need it. Don't wait. Pick up the phone. Get ready. That's it. Right, well, from me and Belinda, thank you very much. And if you've got any questions that you want to ask us, please just comment in it. We will get back to you, and we can arrange some phone calls or whatever is needed. And thanks for listening to our first interview of this year with people. I've been absolutely bricking it about what we're going to say. We're going to be lost for words. Well, luckily with me and Belinda, we're never ever lost for words. Never. And now we've managed to get it into whatever it is, 20 minutes or whatever. So any questions, please put it on, and you will be seeing me and other guests over the coming weeks of the local businesses in the area, and letting you know what they're doing to help the local community and get their business up and running. So for now, thank you and goodbye. Thanks a lot. Bye.